You are listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with a global soul. Our theme music is a clip of Summer Nights by the Eric Jones Trio. It's provided by our friend Mark Chesanout, who plays with the Eric Jones Trio every Thursday and Sunday at Good Times Jazz Bar downtown.
Hey everyone, welcome to Arts on the Air. This is Tamara Garvey, and I have David Laughlin co-interviewing with me again. Welcome back, David.
Hi.
And this week we have two amazing local glass artists, Ron Martinez and Chris Charley. Welcome, you two.
Hello, welcome.
Very good.
My pleasure. Nice to be here.
Thank you. So they both work. Ron is the owner of the Hostess City Hot Glass, which is a glass studio on Montgomery Street that opened in 2018. And I'm going to read a little statement from the website. Ron says, "To me, glass is a unique art medium because people are equally captivated by the work and by the process of making that work. To work with glass is to be an artist, but also a scientist, athlete, and choreographer, and light is as much a material in the final piece as glass." Very cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
I read that
It's a good
earlier. That
summary.
was well done.
I think
Did you have somebody do that for you?
yes. It's called you've been married to somebody so who has a better English skills than you do.
Very well written. And it really describes it.
Well, sometimes I guess it's nice, like, because you're kind of describing other people's reaction to the glass. So she is describing her own reaction
Well,
to
my
glass.
wife likes to. She's for what she does, she needs to do that. But
Yeah.
for the most part, when she asks me questions, I try to answer as much as I can, and she puts it on kind of pause.
No,
Yeah.
it's a great description because when people don't think about it much, it's not, advertised. Let me just say this again, as a matter of fact. But I can't read Tamara's
No,
handwriting.
nobody can read my writing.
You should see mine. It's awful.
But a scientist, athlete, choreography, and light.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like a dance, doing choreography.
I bet it's very
Well,
physical.
once you start, you can't stop.
That's right. And so it's not like any
You've got to
other-
be dedicated.
That's right. So by the time, and we are not permitted to be living and be totally devoted to that item that we're making, because sometimes things happen.
Sure.
It's on the floor. And
The
then it goes
weather,
whole-
so many things.
That's right.
The weather can affect.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just,
If it's cold outside, you know how to work with it. Most of the time it's the more years you have, it's not because you're better than somebody, it's just the more knowledge of that material.
Yeah.
It's
It's a lot
a-
like ceramics, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
it's used to, well, for me, I was thinking that, because I paint, and if we're doing a sign painting or something, whatever it is.
That's right.
But I've noticed, and I didn't notice, but people pointed this out, that I have a bit of paint on this brush, which I know how to cover this area and make this line really good instead of going back and forth. And you know your tools.
That's right.
You know your material. But you've got to have it you've got to have like a psychic sense.
I think it's
for you
more
to
like
do this.
a first 1,000 rule on each step that you will know. So it's more of a written. When we teach the class, people think I'm just yapping, but I say nobody's born a glass blower, a great glass blower. You're taught how to blow glass, the craft itself.
I can't see any
What
other
I-
way. It
what
doesn't
I-
come
yeah.
natural.
That's right. Well, it's
Well,
kinda
like,
if you really want to do glass, you could. There's basic things that you have to know.
Yeah.
It's all just steps.
Yeah.
Now, what I can't teach you in any art school that you have down there is your artistic nature, how you're born. If Picasso decided he wants to be a glass blower, he has to learn the craft side of things, how to make things well and know the material.
the mechanics.
What sets him apart later on after that 10-year period is that crazy ideas he got that he
Yeah.
could interpret now to whatever material that is that he chooses. So
And it's all called glass blowing.
it's
the art. Is
to
that-
me, I've been traveling for, the whole all over the place. Just they got words for them. The best I think I could say to myself, so I'm a glass maker. I'm not
Glass
a
maker.
I'm not a glass blower.
was just wondering.
We turn more than we blow.
Right.
It's just a
yeah.
we might as well call it a glass terms. We always tell this in the
Well,
classes.
it also used to be known as a lamp worker, right?
Well, lamp working is a different discipline.
Right. And then
Oh.
that,
So
okay.
for
Okay.
us, we're soft workers. We're we have pipes, metal pipes, and then
Right.
we go in there with raw glass. And
You said a soft worker? That's what it is?
soft glass worker, yeah.
Huh.
Because of the coefficient of expansion of what we use as a glass.
And that's the whole point of it. That's such a delicate balance
Yeah.
that you've got to make that work.
I think for the most part, you just gotta pick your lane and
Yeah.
and understand that you can't do everything. Once you have an understanding that, kind of
Yeah.
like how any profession is, medical or being a lawyer, being
Sure.
a doctor.
Yeah.
You have your
specialize.
basic, and then you specialize on
Yeah.
one thing. You can't ask a heart surgeon how to do brain stuff. I mean, they have a basic understanding, but you don't want to go to somebody.
Even though they're both doctors.
That's right. So same thing with
Yeah.
lawyers, right? So I think even with engineering and stuff like that, you gotta have those kind of the more specialty you concentrate on one thing, and you get good at it.
Yeah.
Did
And
you say 10-year?
Yeah, 10 years to know what you really want to do.
Wow.
Yeah, so kind of like how I could have been a lawyer, but
You still can't. There's
You
always
still
time.
can. That's right. Don't give up
I'm
that
not-
dream.
I'm not that.
So you started your...
That's why I married one.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So
Even
your
better.
training is in the Bay Area, right? Is that where you started
No, I
learning?
started in Washington State.
Okay.
Washington State. I was in Washington State when I got exposed in college, and my tenure was in the Bay Area and Bay Area Glass Institute, and between that, Sweden and back.
Okay. It's a
How
long
much
way.
time in Sweden?
I was actually in Small Land. Small Land is a place where if you go to IKEA, there's where you drop the kids.
Okay.
That's called Small Land.
Okay.
It's they call it the Glass Kingdom. That's where all the crystal factories.
Seems like you
are.
wouldn't want a lot of children in the glass factory.
No, but it's a cool name. It's called Small
No,
Land.
I like.
Yeah.
That's why I was just imagining the glass factory in Sweden. It
There's
just
so
sounded great.
many of them. They got independents, and then you got those big companies like Orifors and Costa Boda.
Was this like an artist residency that you went to Sweden for, or what?
Well, it was
A
just
program
it
or
was
something?
it was a program, and
Cool.
then kind of went back. Weather-wise, there's a lot of like in between things that kind of got me back home,
Sure.
and I ended up having attended Bay Area Glass Institute, and that's why my wife. Thank God my wife had a job down there too, so it kind of
Yeah, so you came with her.
And then I ended up going back to Seattle glass blowing. It's in Fifth Avenue in downtown.
Okay.
And that's where I pretty much kind of went in with my with the guy that taught me
Further
how-
developed.
Yes,
Right.
further developed. But I think in a sense, you're only as good as the guys that you're with, because you can't really do it if you're making big pieces. The small stuff like cups, ornaments. That's something that you teach somebody to a means to make money in between learning. Right.
Right.
So that when you're in between, you don't get bored, or at least you're making a little.
Yeah,
bit
but
of,
I mean, really, the small works, they're also for you. You
Yeah,
can't
I mean,
blame anyone else for those.
No,
so
the small work,
that's from
like,
you, and you don't
for
have to
us,
rely
it's
on that.
like small works is like I told Chris too. Like we were working that way. We survive on small works.
Well, you have a lot of classes and all. I've
Cla-
seen that.
Classes are good, but we also have those small works that we do that we go to.
Yeah.
Sell off the store online. We got orders that we need to fill. This year we're kind of backing up on that because we've got so much classes coming in. But at the same time, to know that those are essential in
Yeah.
running a glass blowing business is so hard to maintain. Not only my gas bills, my electric,
Sure, it's
Yeah,
a business.
Tell us
Yes.
again what the temperature is inside
It's
that
about,
place.
we're cooking glass where the temperature we're cooking at is about 24, 23.
Celsius.
So
Okay.
2,300 degree. And
2,300 degrees.
Yeah.
So midsummer Georgia right now.
Oh yeah,
About
we
120 or so.
we got plenty of fans.
Yeah.
And exhaust system, right? So it's
You
still
don't
hot
even-
by
You
then.
don't
It'd be
even
like-
turn the furnace on during the summertime, do you? You just sort of stick it out the. on
Well, in the
furnace.
summertime we just got
We work at
smarter.
night.
Yeah,
No, we work at night.
we work at night.
Oh, you do?
That's smart.
Wow.
We work at night, and then when it's really hot outside, that's when we decide. Me and Chris will decide, like, you know what, it's time for our vacation. And then we
Yeah.
have like a month and a half of like just us.
Yeah.
Chris tend to go back to New Mexico, and I tend to go to wherever I want to go, you know.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
So winter though hits and you guys are just in there
I
toasty,
gotta
working.
make my money now in this season.
This
Interesting.
isn't bad place. That isn't a bad place to be in the cold winter.
That's right.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I was just gonna. Can you tell us about the place when you first moved to Savannah? Was it called Drayton Glassworks? It isn't there anymore. Can you
Drayton
tell us
Glass,
about
yeah,
that?
Drayton Glassworks was tenured by John for a long time, John Poirier, and he was there first, and then we were
I
buddies.
remember that place.
Yeah.
Me and John were buddies for a long time, and I decided I didn't know that he went here, so it's to my surprise, because he's from Rhode Island at that time. So I came back, oh,
Oh, you just happened to upon him?
you're here. I was actually opening my own studio. I had plans. That's why I came
Really?
back home.
Yeah.
Right? Came
So you
back
joined
home.
him first.
And then it's like,
Yeah.
maybe this is a good thing that I'm gonna go share the space with John. And
Yeah.
it was, and it worked for us. You know, we got
even
But-
better.
but you know, always like, you know, and the cool thing about that is because we both know what we're doing, and we experimented a lot.
Yeah.
You know, we feed off each other, and then
Right.
you know, over time, you just want to, you know, John kind of like, he's older than me, so he kind of slowed down a little bit. And
Okay.
I said, you know what, maybe it's time to have our own
Was that
separate direction. You know?
like
Sure.
the same model where you were making your own pieces and also doing classes there?
We were not. We were actually just filling orders, and it was
Oh, okay.
fun. But at the same time, we're also struggling. And I
Yeah.
believe that, you know, I've seen so many of my friends fail because they choose one or the other. It's out of you, out of
Yeah.
you.
It's one of the toughest crafts and businesses to
That's right.
maintain.
That's right. It is. It is. I mean, if you got to do it, kind of like one of those noble jobs. You don't be a teacher if you don't like being a teacher,
Yeah.
Right.
right? Or else you just gotta put out a lot of insufferable kids around you. You know. And at the end of the day, like when I tell people all the time, it's knowing where to balance between what's important and to make sure that you're not losing yourself at all in the process. Right?
Sure.
I'm a
It's
maker.
a balance.
I'm a maker first.
Okay.
So if I just teach or I just make stuff for somebody without feeding my creative nature,
Yeah.
then I'm missing something. And you'll see me wake up to a sigh instead of going to my happy place where.
Yeah.
Well-
you can't go too long without working on
That's
a
right.
big, challenging
That's right.
project.
Because you're so involved with the work. I
That's
mean,
right.
the work is you and you are the work,
It's
et
pretty
cetera,
much
and all that,
it's
right?
pretty much
So, I mean, you can't turn that off.
No, you can't. I mean, every day my brain works.
There is a way to turn it off. If you would sleep a little more.
That's one thing I don't do.
And that's what I mean. It's like we're not going to tell you how to do this.
Even
but
in my
get some-
dreams, I think if
You're
imagine
stressed.
this is
Yeah.
how crazy. my
Okay,
brain
here we
is.
go.
Chris is just learning his thing, so I will benefit from a lot if Chris will be on a journey where he's actually knowing. Right now, I'm happy where we're at because he's actually progressing the way we want.
Cool.
When he gets to a point where, and you see, the more he knows, the more complicated things I make. you know. What I'm
Keep him
saying?
challenged.
Well, it's not that because he's
I was
starting
gonna
to know
say,
what
you're
he's
not doing
There's
it
a
for-
repetition about it
Yeah.
that if you don't know the basics, I can't envision. So it's very much like guitar, right? If you know a few chords, you can strum a few things, you can hum along, you'll be all right.
You have some
But
basics.
if you don't understand how those chords fit together or how to move up and down the neck of the guitar, then you're not going to progress past that. And if somebody else wants to do this dance over here, you can keep up, but you're not going to be able to do the flips and the turns and the tricks and you're just not.
For me, it's
So-
like for him to know ahead of time
Yeah.
what I need
Yeah, without
Yeah.
even having to tell me.
without having to tell me. Because if we have to talk to do something, that's
It's too
inefficient.
long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so we're thinking too much. We're
Yeah,
playing
you're
with time
overthinking
and-
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for him to know what is happening in front of him and what I need,
Yeah.
that will be like wow.
Yeah.
And it makes our job easier, smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It reflects
sure.
on the work. And then the beauty about that, Chris is also a creative, so he puts in this little niche where I'll be like, I think we should do it this way. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll be like this for a minute. I don't see it. And I come back, you know what, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
You just have to let it percolate a
That's
little.
right.
Yeah.
So, and then for you to have that kind of partnership where you kind of, it's a big dance. And in dance, you cannot expect yourself to be good at dancing if you don't know the steps.
Well,
Chris,
it's
are
a-
you teaching too, or maybe
Yeah.
you are?
Yeah, but the fundamentals of making things stay on center.
Well, it's a flow,
It is a flow.
which is, I mean, I don't know what the word is, but that's so much part of what, I can see you working in glass and seeing the flow of this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all about being in tune with the material.
That's right. You see me sometimes when I work in there, I don't talk at all. It's because of the fact that I'm lost.
Oh,
I'm in the
sure.
zone. By the time that moment, like when I teach, I tell somebody in the class, the moment you know you're in the zone, you're out of the zone. When you notice that, I think I'm in the zone. No, you're out, so.
Yeah, because you're like aware.
Aware,
of it then.
right? So for me to lose, I could work 8 hours in a day and not know that I have done it. You see Chris probably,
I think we've all done this.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe
So-
we need a break. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we need to, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be recognized.
What kind of music do you have playing in there while you guys are working?
Oh, we're kind of eclectic. It depends on the mood, Most of the time, I play. What do you think I play the most, Chris?
I'm gonna guess
Country.
ragtime.
No, there's a lot.
There's a lot of that.
No?
No, there's more country than anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm from
But
Meadow, Georgia.
Well, I was gonna say,
You're a country boy.
but there's a lot of 60s stuff too.
Yeah, 60s,
Yeah.
70s,
Yeah. Like
We
As
like
a
the
matter-
oldies.
Yeah,
it's
there's
a little
really-
bit more
yeah.
like flow in what we do.
Yeah.
If we're pissed off, if you ever go to my
90s and below.
yeah. That's right. If you ever go to my studio and I'm playing heavy metal, don't go in.
Okay.
okay, no worries.
Like, ooh, you must be in a place where you don't want to talk to me.
Especially if it's really loud, it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
I
that's
think for
it.
me, like, there's people don't see this, that a lot of glass blowers really play music every time they work.
Well, why not?
Yeah, it's the best thing. I think you can't do that in a lot of profession, but
Right.
with glass blowing, it just goes hand in hand.
Because it is like dancing, you said.
That's
It's very
right.
physical, so.
Like I listen to a lot of like my dad's mix, I call it, like a lot of
Your
like
dad's mix.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
like my the Eagles or like that
Oh.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say Eagles.
I know.
It's like yacht rock.
Like yacht rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like
And
that
I don't
too.
listen to that on the normal. You don't never see me put that in my car or my truck.
Right. But it's your
You know,
working music.
It's my working music. It's one. It flows with whatever that is
There's
that
worse
I do.
working music.
So,
Walmart has worse
Oh,
working
my
music.
I mean, I don't want to listen to my kids like it's all music to play on, but
Yeah.
most of the time it does affect you a little bit, like just the moods to start with. It's like,
Can you tell us, I'm kind of curious, just the balance of your business between the making and the classes. Like, does it, as the year goes on, are there different seasons where you're doing more classes and more making, or how have you worked it out
this
now?
is the thing when we first started, right? I mean, any kind of business, you want to focus on trying to survive.
Yeah, what will work?
Trying to put what we found
Yeah.
out, and a lot of people don't get this. It's pretty simplistic, like, and the reason why we're so successful, and we can hardly have time for ourselves if we don't have like that Monday to Wednesday off. Not a lot of businesses will have that liberty
Oh,
to
yeah. Like a
The
roll.
life
close.
work balance.
Yeah.
to live. For us, we have Mondays where it's just for us, and then we got those making days.
Okay. Oh, well, like where the doors are shut to people, but you're in there?
Yeah, we're an open studio, but
Okay.
we're working on stuff that we like, right?
Okay.
Or we're catching up orders or anything like that. But from Thursday to Sunday is when the public owns us, and you get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
To have those really correlate with each other and just harmonize between the two, and you're in between where you could tickle your
Sure. Have a little more free reign.
That's right. But
Right.
I also understand that you need to open the doors, and that's what makes it. We made our own scene here for a long time. There's no scene in Savannah, a glass scene in that town. We made our own business work because one, I totally believe that if you took the time, my job, our job, is to make that scene for us. And how do we do that? By educating the public what I do. You can't be that guy who, unfortunately, in our industry, there's a lot of glass holes in there, what we call it. You know?
Yeah.
They think they're better than, and they're so
Of
conniving
course.
too.
Well, that's in a lot.
Just pompous.
Oh, pompous, and there's a lot of conniving.
That's in a lot of fields, but I know what you're talking about.
They're a gift of God, a gift to mankind. But for me to understand, like, having the community that you live in, and bringing them in and showing them why they should, appreciate what you do.
Yeah.
That's where the teaching part is.
Yeah.
So, you get tired of going to the tent and then you're selling your wares and somebody does this. It's an amazing vase, but why is it this much? Man, I offer classes,
Yeah.
make it own,
It's a lot of educating.
and then you
Yeah.
go in there. But for that long that we've been, since I got back home,
But that's why it's smart that you're teaching.
yeah.
Because really you are, and you said it, people don't, they don't approach the work as work.
Yeah.
And they don't realize what's behind
What's
it.
behind that? So
Yeah,
when
I've done a lot of craft shows too, and yet people don't, like a lot of people I think haven't done any art since literally elementary school, since classes. So
hate
they have
when
no,
people say that.
like, so they have no
That is so
idea,
true.
like as an adult, they have no concept of how long anything might take.
I think for us, like, stuff that we do that help, that we actually don't mind doing, it's like through our own pocket, because we don't want to get tainted by asking people for donations for the stuff that we
Well,
do on the
there's
side,
Yeah.
like our glass hunts that we do.
Yeah, let's talk about the
so-
glass hunts.
Yeah.
That's an idea you came up with?
Yeah, so it's actually my daughter.
Oh, yeah?
It's the little Maddie's idea. We have those extra stuff that we have at the studio. So it's either we do a demo.
No, when you
And-
say extra stuff,
That means like demo. We demo before we will.
little glass pieces,
Yeah.
not
Okay.
just trash.
No.
Okay, good.
They're a demonstration before.
It's like you're throwing away your rods.
Like a
No,
little
no.
bobble or something?
Yeah, so like we
Right,
make a.
I just wanted to be clear.
So we got like classes, and in between that, before the class, we demo. So I mean, we don't do those tourist trap classes. You're actually 80% of the work is you, and that's the reason why we have so much influx of people trying to go in there. But for the most part, the demo pieces is kind of stacking up in the back.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you gonna do with this? And my daughter's like picked up. It's like, I know what to do with that. Toss it outside and put it in like a little bush outside. Maybe somebody will find that. Dad. You know what? Let's go grab that. So we got her. She got her friends with her, her classmates. So grab like 4 of them. Let's start around our block,
So it's like an Easter egg hunt.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Right? So
I love
And then
that.
it's just expanded, so now
I'll expand it to
every
we
few
got
months you do a
5,000
big...
people last time.
I saw in your profile on
5,000?
WTOC,
Oh
right?
yeah, 5,000.
Looking for how many pieces?
Wow.
About 56. Yeah.
How do
That's
people
funny.
How do people know when these are going to happen?
We give him a clue. Like my wife's really the one that works. She does
Yeah.
well with this kind
Like
of
on your
stuff.
social media?
That's right.
Okay.
So every social media outlet we have, or people that come in, we'll tell them like, okay, guys.
Okay.
Or people ask me, when is it? Like right on the door. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm just here.
You know what's funny is I got to do a personal thing here. Is Kroger's here nearby.
Yeah.
I used to have a little bin of rubber animals, like plastic animals, for $1 each, and I would buy them almost every time I'd go in, and I'd just leave them around town in
Town,
different
yeah,
places
right.
for people to find. And now it's in this one tree on Monterey Square.
The tree hole.
The
A
giving
tree hole, that's
You
right.
know about
It's
this?
the giving
Wow,
tree,
it's a giving
man.
tree, yeah.
That's the giving tree.
Right. So we started putting them in there. Now everybody's like, and I've seen art installations since
Yeah.
then put in there. It's like fantastic.
For
And
us,
it's
it's
a,
like
it's a nice little find when you're
that's
out
right.
walking
I mean,
around.
it's
and just,
it's the thrill of the find, right?
yeah, it's just a nice little thing.
For us, it's always, it kind of started that way and then became a little bit more complicated where we became like really involved. We said, you know what, there's nothing like this. I mean, I think the city of Savannah
It's-
involves themselves in a lot of things that are touristy, but nothing for the people that live here
Right.
Yeah, that's nice.
And a lot of people don't know nothing about the history of them parks, little parks and
Yeah.
squares and stuff like
Right,
that.
So you guys, you
started
pick a certain location?
certain location,
that's
and
what's
then
great.
whatever the history of that location, we put it on the clue.
Oh.
Now
that's so
you
fun.
say, just to be clear, you say you do this after a buildup of classes.
That'd be like at least four times a year. So that's every
Okay.
quarter.
Great.
So
Okay.
we build them up, and what we do, like
So we
right
can-
now, we're about to get ready.
Are you?
That's
so
why I
we'll follow
wasn't
your
gonna
social
ask.
media. We'll keep an eye
I'm not
out.
gonna say it,
Right. Oh my
gosh.
because people camp, man. You know, people camp.
It's gotten really out of hand, has
It's
it?
out of hand.
Good.
Adults.
It's funny because that's such a positive thing, so it's
Yeah.
great that it's.
I mean,
being-
it features so like we were like, I think we're so proud of what we've built and accomplished down there. We don't ask no more. It's
Sure.
not about making money no more. It's about being there and being
Sure.
open, and just continuing what we started
Yeah.
as a. If we can
I'm
pay our bills,
surprised I've not
we're
heard
fine.
of this because it's like, wow, this is great. I love this.
Exactly, and
area.
I told people all the time, like, you don't understand how it is to give back sometimes, especially when I grew up here, this is my town. And to show my town like how much I love it, it's this how I'm gonna do it. You know, and for some odd reason, there's a lot more people that is outside from Savannah that comes in here and pick
Oh,
it.
yeah?
Oh, yeah,
So
but
people
that's
travel.
good too,
Yeah, people-
because that's part of what the city's about too,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. So a lot of people come down from Jacksonville to like Charlotte to Atlanta. They come
Yeah.
down here and they
That's so great.
But you don't know what kind of impact you have until for me, it was just me just giving away stuff. Most of the time, it's for the kids at first, and now it's
Of
like
course.
family and
Yeah.
bro. It's like they really. I mean,
But it's unique. Each one is a unique
It's
work of
very
art.
unique, yeah.
and,
And that's what's so amazing because it's not just little plastic animals running around the place like I was
I
doing.
mean,
It's like these are
that's right.
gifts
That's right.
that you're giving away.
My little girl wants to be part of that. She likes hiding it in there. Chris
Oh,
likes
yeah.
to put it on the most unusual places in town.
So
Do you
great.
keep
I
when
mean,
you?
Is this
when-
any of this documented? I mean, you've got to have it documented on the social media.
Always, we got
Good.
like
Yeah.
interview. I don't do a lot of interviews. I mean, for good reasons. I either have Chris or like somebody that's around to do that. I'm just not that guy. I don't like
Right.
to take the shine like that. And that's why if it's just me, I took Chris with me because I can't.
You don't know. You need
know,
a
I
back.
can't-
Sometimes you need
You're like a
little
partner.
Need a
Well,
little
that's
backup.
not that, but I recognize too. I can't do it all by myself.
Yeah.
I can't work without Chris.
Do you guys? I was wondering at these hunts. Do you know how many pieces you placed out in there, and then at the end to find ones that aren't found, or how do you do that?
Oh, they're always all
Well,
are found,
we have
aren't
Little
QR
barcode,
code
yeah, QR code.
stickers on them, and if you take
Oh.
a picture of the QR code, you
It
can
reports
get,
it back.
Yeah, it
Amazing.
reports it back.
So
Are there some that are still just
Yeah,
randomly out
they're
there?
just out there.
Okay.
Really? Great.
I don't think.
Sometimes people.
I don't think people understand the place where we hide it sometimes.
I think the most unique one is the.
If they did, they'd find
Whoever
it.
got that shell out of the
We
fountain.
made a conch shell.
It was in the fountain.
It was in the fountain.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
and then I didn't see
That
it.
sounds great.
Like whoever found that shell, because the thing wraps up and it drops into the bowl, right? So I stuck it in the bowl, so it was
So
just.
you can't really see it.
Yeah, you could just see the little tip coming out of
Wild.
the
Yeah.
bowl in the water.
It
like,
was
as
clear.
No, it
I
was
think it's a white outside with
yeah,
a blue
it
inside.
Oh, I
was
was
a
gonna
very it was
say.
a very ocean color.
Okay, good. I was
Okay.
going to say.
Was this
but-
the Forsyth Park fountain or a different
No.
one?
No,
It was in
it's
a square.
It's one of them squares.
One
Cool.
of those squares.
Yeah, yeah.
And look, see how our
Yeah.
our
I'll bet on it.
our excitement when we talk about it.
Yeah.
It's because of those kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We don't know. I mean, we enjoy it too. When we put stuff out there, I mean, we do it in the middle of the night. If we don't enjoy it, why
Oh,
would we?
that's so
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, so for all you
Right,
guys.
but for the most part, I think people don't understand. In the grand scheme of things, it's not about. I think it frustrates me when a lot of my fellow peers they look at it as a business, and you wonder why nobody comes to you. For us, our job, they make it they fill up the seats, and there's hardly any interaction between you and the maker, and you're just doing it, and they're pretty much doing
Right,
it
just
for you.
demoing it, yeah.
Right.
You're acting like they did something. For us, it's 80%. Come on, we encourage you to come on, turn the pipe,
Aw.
put the color, go heat it up. Come
Actually
on,
do this.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So with all the mistakes and all, because you
You are
can't
not
learn
just
nothing without
watching a
having
YouTube video.
mistakes.
You've got to actually
Yeah.
do this.
I mean, well, you guys were coming to the end of our first half of the show, so we will be back. And again, we're with Ron and Chris from Hostess City Hot Glass.
You are listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with a global soul.
Trees are one of Chatham County's most treasured natural resources. Beyond their beauty and cultural significance, the impact of trees are far-reaching and compounding, spanning from economic benefits to health improvements to climate change resilience. Trees are woven into every aspect of our lives. Savannah Tree Foundation protects and grows Chatham County's urban forest through tree planting, community engagement, and advocacy. More information is available at savannahtree.org. This portion of WRUU's programming is brought to you by listeners and by Brighter Day Natural Foods. Brighter Day Natural Foods has been serving Savannah's healthy food and supplement needs since 1978. It is located at the corner of Bull Street and Park Avenue. They have online ordering and curbside delivery available, and now a walk-up window for smoothies, juices, and sandwiches from the deli. They are open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. More information can be found at brighterdayfoods.com.
What does it mean when we say that WRUU is a community radio station? It doesn't just mean that we invite the community to create programming. And it doesn't just mean that we're a voice for the community. It also means that we're counting on the community to keep us going. And you are the community. Almost all of our modest budget comes from small annual or monthly donations from listeners like you. You get to enjoy our community-focused programming because many others have stepped forward to do their part. Now do your part by joining our community of listener donors. Go to WRUU.org right now and make a one-time or monthly donation. And thank you for supporting Savannah's community radio station, 107.5 FM.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Arts on the Air. This is Tamara Garvey and David Laughlin, and we are sitting down with Ron Martinez and Chris Charley at Hostess City Hot Glass, which is a glass studio on Montgomery Street. David, I think you had a question you wanted to start us off with.
I wanted to ask if I was looking into this history of glass making.
You want to know what I know about the history?
Well, let me tell you a few things.
Just
I
tell us
found.
the 2,000-year-old, yeah. Just go through it.
And well, the things I found were it started in Syria.
That's right.
They figured out how that the glass would bubble.
Actually, Syria introduced the pipes.
Right. They
That's
figured
their
out
con-
it would bubble.
Yeah, their
That's what I mean,
contribution is to make the glass itself. I mean,
Oh, that was.
that's
okay.
probably a little bit, but
Yeah.
Sumerians have been playing with it. The Egyptians have. They still
Right.
digging out like a blocks of glass in
Oh,
there
yeah.
because back then it was worth more than gold. You know, it's the process to make those things. Well, we know it's like through historical records where it could really come from. What do you think a place on Earth that has plenty of sand?
The Sahara.
Right? I mean, Syrian Aramaic region right there. And
Yeah.
for the most part, I think when they introduced the pipe, for
Right.
1,000 years before when they start making them, but because through pottery and blacksmith, we came along. So without them two, I don't think the
Yeah.
technology to heat it up or stuff like that, I don't think glass making will be in existence. But because of the technique, how we used to shape that, we can't shape it with our hands, so we use wet paper.
Well, that's.
Wet paper.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
to actually the oldest tool in the shed, we use a lot of newspaper at the shop.
Yeah.
We used to press it. And
Oh, so it doesn't need to be
watercolor.
any special paper, just
No.
newspaper? Huh.
If you're one of those, you have snap-on tools as well at home.
Yeah.
You can't you don't have to be a good mechanic to have snap-on tools on, but at the same time, what we have is when Syria introduced that, and you still see it in modern Iraq or like in Afghanistan when they use their hind leg, their legs to actually use as a bench. So they have wood in here.
Yeah.
And that's where we roll, and everything's small, right, where they could reach it, So, and then pretty much the Romans
Well,
took
then,
it to a
then
different
it
level.
went to Italy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Romans pretty much took it to a whole new level, and the Venetians perfected all the techniques. So everything that we have right now is pretty much.
Can I tell you a historical bit that I came
Yeah,
across
yeah,
that I
yeah.
thought was pretty cool?
Please
When
do.
when it went to Italy and became a practice there, and they perfected a bunch more technique beyond. And but they wanted to keep it to themselves.
That's right.
And at one time, they had all the glass blowers living on
In
the
Murano,
little
yeah.
Murano, and wouldn't let them leave.
Yeah.
They would kill them if they left.
Some of them
It was
escaped.
so secret. History is fun sometimes
right.
to me. It's interesting.
true.
It's like, really?
It's
All
true.
this over glass?
Yeah.
Really, guys?
Generally violent.
But that's what happened.
Well, the
And then-
Dodge, the Doge of Venice at that time put them in a little place because they are the ones that figured this out.
Right.
Now, every single glass bead that's used all over the world at that time, guess where it comes from?
Yeah, Murano.
So, but some of them escaped. That's why it traveled from the Bohemia region, to like all the way down to where it's at now. Sometimes
All
the way
over.
down to China. Yeah.
Yeah, all over.
People don't understand that even in right now, people are getting buzz over like Seattle glass blowing scene or the New York glass blowing scene. They're all Venetian techniques. The good thing about Americans is we're so susceptible to breaking rules
Yeah.
that we come up with a different style of work through the traditional kind of Marini tiles.
Sure.
But because we're also those kind of vanguards of our own, we still use the traditional Venetian technique, but as an aesthetic, it differs. The real modern technique,
It's a base.
yeah, the real modern for us, the real modern scene is in Scandinavia.
Oh,
That's why there's two distinct things. You know, when you see Venetian, you can't tell a Venetian glass to a Seattle blown glass. But
Because it looks
This-
like the same technique.
lean technique. But I think when it comes, we kind of shot up a little bit more on the cleaning up
Okay.
what they used to do. But I think Sweden started the whole phase from 1957 to add new dynamic of aesthetics, which is thicker and morally into the most minimalist type of glass making, where
Yeah, that's Swedish, all
also,
right.
yeah, and they also play with a lot of light play.
huh.
So they love the most simplistic, and the beauty of it is introducing light not just as a medium with glass, was how what the effect of light into the glass,
Yeah, and beyond.
and how that is the most beautiful
Yeah.
thing. Because for me to know what glass was and why I'm attracted to it in the first place was going to a church.
The stained glass, of course,
The only time it's beautiful is
is
when
when
it's
the
sun.
light comes through it.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to say. Like, you know,
My mom taught it. So I'm
my
familiar.
one of my favorite master, Jan Erik Richman from Sweden. He has once told everybody, "What is the most beautiful glass? What do you think? Why glass is so beautiful?" And he's a man of few words, but those words matter to me till this day. Like he said, a glass is like a beautiful woman. You don't need to put a makeup on them. You just want them. It's just how it is.
It's
the
just
way it looks.
beauty.
It's just by itself.
Yeah.
And I never looked at glass the same way again. From that point on, I was like, okay, I see. See what
Well,
you
this
mean.
explains a lot.
That's right. and
This
you know,
began the journey.
You know, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with just overcomplicating it. It just shows your mastery of the medium, right?
Yeah.
But I could tell you this much: the ones that I think it's oversimplified are the ones that sell the most. Like I don't like. I'll be like, oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
should do
You
that."
start. I don't know. You
Yeah.
start getting into that's people's taste, and I really have no idea what people.
I'd be like, I could be snooty and like, I tell Chris, like, man, why is not nobody's buying this thing? You know how many hours we put on this?
Yeah.
Maybe you should write on it how many hours you put
Oh,
on it.
yeah.
Nobody would appreciate
No,
it.
nobody would ever see that.
No.
Right.
Way.
I know.
The
Quilt
more
making or
The
something.
better you know that, the
Yeah.
more less hurt you're gonna be. You're gonna be like,
I was
yeah.
having trauma with my dog while I was doing this, so you should pay more.
No,
Aw.
no.
I wanted
It
to ask
doesn't
you,
work that way.
speaking about like the really creative, elaborate pieces, you had a show at the mansion on Forsyth Park. Was that last year?
Yeah, it was actually,
Recently?
I wouldn't say that's my best work because, I mean, we did the most out of that small time they gave us.
Yeah, I was curious. Was it like a collection you did for that? Was there a theme behind it?
was
What was
oh my
that?
God, we did that in about a week, ain't it?
I was going to say,
You
how
did all
much
the work
time?
in a week?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a week and a half.
Okay.
I was so nervous. I'm like, man.
Guys,
Yeah.
that's terrible. I'm sorry.
It's like, man.
I understand.
But
That's how he works. That's how he
How
works.
how did you feel the show went?
You got any
I think I
sleep?
could have done better. You know,
Yeah.
I got shows all over, like when I was living in Seattle. That's more my taste. you
Yeah.
know, But in the mansion, they see like what I mean. When I tell people all the time to show the power of the glass, it's like what your skill is to make anything that is super symmetrical with glass, because the medium itself fights you not to be symmetrical. It moves. It's always flowing.
So that was like the challenge that you were doing with the pieces
The
there.
more and more you know the guy knows what he's doing, is how you can make everything just like it came out of. But that's showing your skills,
Yeah.
right? Showing creativity is a totally different way. It's not but you also gonna have to have a big balance of both to know that
Yeah.
you're putting out work down there, right? So if you're just those guys, let's say now unfortunately a lot of in our business now has a lot of, they don't put the time. I'm a glass artist first, right? And you can see it in their work. That means everything's,
Just fast.
I made it that way.
Production line instead of putting
No,
our soul.
it's just more. Even when we doing asymmetrical stuff when we were in Seattle, there's a feeling of symmetry because you done planned that. When you did this and it's a mistake, there's a difference between asymmetrical because of a mistake and there's an asymmetrical when it flows. And that's when I say, okay,
Right.
that captures your eye a little. Oh,
The purposefulness of it.
that's right.
Yeah.
There's a purpose to that. It's kind of like seeing two abstract painters. My baby and
Right.
and a great abstract painter, right? And they'd be like, oh, I see what he's doing there. You know what I mean? Okay, I see that. But a lot of people will do like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know, my kid could do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But they don't know the
Yeah, it was-
sense behind it, And
Yeah,
I
the
understand
balance
that.
and the elements of it and
That's right.
everything. What are you working on creatively?
We have
Talk
we're
now.
going back to our lighting. That's that's always been my pedigree. So
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do a lot of Venetian techniques and to color the glass. A lot of canes and a lot of like really complicated because that's just I think it's simplistic, but
Yeah.
I don't let the pattern.
Like light fixtures? Is that what you mean?
Big pendant lights, chandeliers,
Oh,
stuff
wow.
like that. So
Okay, so we'll keep
that's
an eye
just
out for
my-
that.
That's just what makes me happy as a body of work.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
People actually,
It's utilitarian
It's,
and yet
and
it's an expression.
there's a lot of things that you could do with light. How to play with light. How to make.
Yeah.
Light is supposed to be the one that brings out the element of what that material is.
Well, let's go if the whole piece is about light, then yeah, making light fixtures of
That's
it.
right.
I mean,
That does
it's
make
cool.
sense.
Works on so
Right,
many
so-
levels.
And I think that's pretty much that's my mantra. I think for this year.
Can't wait to see that.
I know.
I went to, I visited Phoenix a year or two ago, and
There's
I
a
went
lot.
to the botanical, there's like the Japanese botanical garden there, and then just the regular,
regular
Phoenix
botanical,
botanical
yeah,
garden.
that's right.
But I happened to be there while the Dale
The
Chihuly
Chihuly,
show was
yeah.
there, which was amazing. So it was just these wild,
See how those
like,
asymmetrical stuff have a purpose?
yes, it was just installed amongst this desert botanical garden. It was these like crazy, weird looking, they looked like sea creatures or like space creatures, and they were just installed amongst the odd, already looking plants in the desert. The plants are already weird looking.
That's right.
It was very cool.
It's just like I think Dale, people don't understand, he really don't blow glass. He's the designer. So he got a group of glass blowers who he tells people, like, I want you to make this color scheme. I want you to do this in this style. And they will put it all up. What that guy has is kind of like being a florist putting those things together, because I can make all the glass,
Yeah.
but for him to put it in the most dramatic way, how to present that glass,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Yeah, it's
Right.
really, it's pieces put together,
Oh.
right? Like
They're
constructed.
huge too.
And you'd be going in there like, I would not think about putting this way.
Right.
The moment that he presents that, and you're the first ones to see it, you'd be like, huh, what? You know? And that's his gift, you know?
Yeah. Also being able to technically put multiple pieces of glass together
I mean,
and it doesn't break
think about that.
is
I mean,
crazy.
if, you know, I would not think that would go along. Like, that's why I got Chris, like, you know, second backing me up. Like, what do you
yeah.
think?
How to construct
I'd
it.
probably like resist because I got my own taste. Like, for example, he came up with a mix that I'd be like, Chris, stop. And the next thing you know, we blow
that won't work. That'll never work.
And then we blow that. And it's probably one of my favorite mixes now.
But
You know?
that's the beauty of art.
That's right.
It's like, we'll experiment with this. It doesn't have to leave the studio. Nobody has to see it. So if we really screw
Sometimes
up.
it does, you know? I mean, it's the one that flies off the shelves, you know?
Yeah.
But
that's-
it's the fun
interesting.
of creating.
That's
And
right.
it's letting the creativity flow through you.
I think my OCD when it's like,
You can't, I was going to say, for what you do, you need OCD.
thank you. But at the same time, you gotta be able to silence that when you need to. The OCD part, you need to have that on the structure, right, of what you're presenting. Because if you want
Yeah,
to have
but put it on a leash.
what pieces that really makes me like, I'm all about symmetry. So if I make what tickles my fancy is when I see the most perfect bowl. But that's the craftsman in me, right?
Sure.
I'll be like,
See, not everybody,
Right.
not everybody looks at things that way.
Yeah.
Because that's why I'm saying. But you're so infused with it that you see it from like the directors or the makers' point of
Yeah,
view
the
of how that
technical
looks.
aspects.
the technical aspect. But think about this. But if you have Chris, you got people that suggest the stuff.
Well, that's the
And
great
you be
part.
body
At least-
resistant about it. And then
At
next
least
thing
you're
you know,
open.
next thing you know, because of his idea, now you got a great bowl and a very, pleasing to the eye kind of bowl with
Yeah.
colors. Because
Yeah.
I'm always been minimalistic with my approach to glass, So for me to put like too much color, it becomes, in my head, it becomes a little bit more crafty.
Yeah.
okay.
You don't want to make it look like you're trying too hard.
That's right.
Because you want it to just be
I mean,
part of the environment
that's right.
instead of pushing itself.
What kind of, I was
onto
curious, what kind of injuries have you guys gotten before?
Here we go.
Glass?
There you go, Chris.
I'm always curious.
I burned my hands to the point where I didn't feel them for a year.
Do you still have your fingerprints?
Oh,
They came back.
I can't
Okay.
I
Came back.
I don't.
fast.
Really?
You don't have fingerprints? You don't have fingerprints, or?
This one don't. I mean, it
Interesting.
slides off. See that?
Wow.
It doesn't stop. But
I have a job I want to talk to you about later.
But it's a good way to get rid of your fingerprints if you.
Man.
you want?
Yeah.
Hey, look.
if you play the
if
long game, you're just
Yeah.
doing glass for a long time.
I mean, you gotta know the nature of what your job hazard is, right? So if you're playing them on fire, you should be susceptible to that. But at the same time, educating you, what being burned does to you is telling you not to get burned, how not to get burned. Be cautious. Some people learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Some people learn right away, right?
Yeah.
So,
Some people take a few times to
well,
learn.
exactly, and that's what you
That's
don't want
probably
in a
the
glass
ones that
house. You know what I'm
stop.
saying? I mean, kids, I understand, but we got like kids from like, what's the youngest we have in there?
4-year-old.
4-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Okay.
And they're way better than adults.
Oh, yeah? What? Tell us why.
Oh,
Wonder
they're
why.
just there for the moment. Adults are tainted by competition. And even men are the ones that actually that quit in the middle of the work.
Really?
Because of the
Oh.
competition?
Because, oh my gosh, really?
Because they're not doing well enough.
You're getting people
In front
with
of the
all
light.
you're
Okay.
getting
Right?
all the guys with the fragile egos?
Oh God, all the time.
Should you-
Fragile like glass.
That's right. Think about that.
Yeah.
With kids, it's always been refreshing and cool because it's easier job for us. It's never a competition for them.
Oh.
So they like,
They just want to do it.
this want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
you
they're
see it.
easier to teach?
That
the
four,
kids?
yeah.
Yeah.
The 4-year-old actually slapped my hand. I got it. I'm like, man, really?
That's great.
It was funny.
It was funny because he looked at me seriously.
Yeah.
Chris, we were both laughing down there.
See, that's when they still got the urge to explore.
That's right.
Do you have any
Sure.
do you have any open classes coming up? Or are you guys really booked? What?
We're booked right now all the way through, I think, January.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Good.
Okay.
We don't have that problem. The problem we have right now is just having, I think what's the worst problem?
Taking time off.
Taking time.
Okay.
Like we had to schedule it.
Yeah.
Are the holidays going to be really big for you guys, retail,
We
like
just-
sales wise?
I think holidays is the
You're
one.
going to have classes on Christmas Eve?
No,
That's
no.
what she's asking.
No, I
No.
think,
Okay.
Nah. But people can come into your location and shop for
oh,
gifts for
that's right.
holidays.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
always do. They
Heard
always
it
come
there.
anytime, and we got a little gallery right there on
Really?
the corner of the shop, and
Online?
online too. But to see, we love for you to be involved with what you make, right? So I think it's way better. People will appreciate it more if you actually want to give somebody
Oh.
something. Make sure that you're actually, and that's the reason why.
Oh, yeah.
Like our problem, our good thing that happened between our business now and what back then, the big difference is we found out that we're not just a regular glass blowing studio no more. We're a tradition for a lot of families.
Oh, they come
So
back.
Really?
we have a lot of comeback customers,
Oh.
and that's what we rely on. We know who's coming November.
That's amazing.
We know
That's
who's coming.
a great
Yeah, we don't have-
testament
You see
to
the
what you're
kids
doing.
changing over time.
The only time we slow down is when we actually turn lazy, because it gets hot outside, and then you see us like work only on the weekends. I mean, people
Sure.
don't want to work,
Well, it sounds you listed your weekly schedule before. It sounds like you really only have Mondays off.
That's it, yeah.
So,
I mean, sometimes we got Wednesdays, but I also
Yeah.
teach. I got a Muay Thai gym, and so I do that. That's my other part, half of my life. So, this is my yin, that's my yang. I gotta have that in my life, and without those two, I don't think I could feel balance really.
Nice.
But for the most part,
Sounds like a good balance, though.
I like this yin yang because it's like in one they're both physical, but in one you're like as strong or as rough as you can be, and in the other it's like very delicate.
That's right. I mean, it's both, I think, in a way. But you know how the approach is different, right? So I think you have to be physically, and why we are attracted to it because of the fact that you can be both physical in there.
Yeah.
If you don't mind being around fire, it makes my heart boil every time I go in there. I feel alive when I'm around that. 3, I think it forces me to interact with people I don't normally interact, and I find joy in that.
Yeah.
But if I'm just to have one of those days where sometimes you're not a perfect human being, I got Chris.
How do you? So on the days where you do the classes are like you said Thursday, Friday, or Friday,
Right
Saturday.
now it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
How many classes a day would you have then?
We have about 3. I think you cap at 3, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cap at 3, and then 4. We have most of the time now. What we have an influx of is a group,
Big groups.
one group for the whole day, and makes our lives.
Oh, a whole
so
day.
easy.
Wow.
So we have like mostly 12 people in there and celebrating something, and like what's that?
Birthday parties.
Birthday parties.
Well, I
and
think
so
I
fun.
just
corporate
saw
stuff,
something, one of
I
your
love this.
latest ones was the vet techs
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah,
came.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
veterinarian techs,
Yeah.
I
And
imagine.
we do a lot of,
Because wasn't there a dog in that picture?
Oh, that's my.
Is that your dog?
Yeah, that's my.
What is that dog's name? He was
It's Peaches
adorable.
the bulldog. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I wrote this down to ask. So
Adorable.
you have a new shop dog. How do you keep the dog safe in there?
Oh, that's a good
We only
question.
bring her about this time of year. She's a bulldog. We try to go give him.
So she's a bulldog in a china shop, right?
She's a chill bulldog. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you've met many bulldogs. They lay around a lot.
I know.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Sure,
don't.
I've seen them play.
Yeah, but that playtime is 5-10 seconds, like, and then
They have like a one.
I picture
burst.
just wiggling her butt and taking out a whole shelf of glass.
Oh, that's why.
For eating them.
But
Oh,
Peaches,
he
Peaches,
tried eating that.
I
Peaches is a
imagine.
cute name.
Yeah,
It's a cute
Peaches.
name.
My wife has named her,
Wow.
but it took me about 8 years before I got. I only had bulldogs my whole life,
Really.
and it took me 8 years until I got her.
That one is adorable.
My last one, his name was Rambo, and that got me a little bit. 8 years, I can't.
Oh, just recovering from him.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
And
always
then
tough.
I hear
I
you.
never had a girl bulldog before, but
Yeah.
this the
Is
first
there a
time.
difference, you think? Yeah.
Sweeter.
Um,
You know, I mean, Peaches, if you go
The
in there,
name
the
is
first
very-
thing, the
yeah.
first thing that she does is like wiggle her foot. My dog is very friendly. It kind of protects me.
I was gonna say, it's gotta be because it's in the shop.
yeah,
yeah.
your public
With
shop.
strange
Very
people who
friendly.
come in who she doesn't know.
That's right. I mean, she is very forgiving. Like I know sometimes I'd be like looking at people like, oh, and she still go.
Yeah.
The moment that I know my dog growls at you, I know for a fact I should. So that I trust my dogs.
That's
instinct
always a
more than
gauge.
anything, you know?
Yeah, sure.
And it's a good thing when you have your dog in there. I mean, I don't want her to stay at home all the time. But if she's there, like
Yeah.
yesterday,
That's
she
your
just wants to
dog.
stay at home, sleep. You know. I was
Yeah.
like, no, not today,
She's
fatty.
coming to work.
So not today, fatty. You're going with me. You know.
So if people go to your shop, they're going to see so much fun.
Oh,
So
yeah.
fun things. They can shop, they can take a class, they can pet your
Pet my
amazing dog
bulldog,
Peaches.
yeah,
You got
Stand out by
glass
the big
hunts.
fan that blows all the air out on the street on
Sounds
the.
like such a
Right.
fun environment.
Go in there. Probably
I've walked by there. You don't know this. I've walked by there many times.
You'll have to go
My
in.
own-
You gotta go in.
You gotta
My
go.
old house is nearby.
Oh,
And
you
I
live
would
right-
walk my dog around sometimes. My dog is now gone. But, yeah, I'd always, but I'd never, you always had people in there and it looked like you were doing classes and I didn't want to interrupt anything.
Yeah.
We got people come in and out down there, watch us do the class. It's the beauty of it, you know. We always keep our stuff like open to the public, you know what I'm saying, for a good reason, so that
Yeah.
they know that one, we're there.
Sure.
Two, that there's a lot of talented people in Savannah. And sometimes, you know, the problem with Savannah too is like they're a little bit more cliquish. We're not those.
Right.
You know, I just want to make sure that we are our entity of our own, whether we have another glass shop in here. We are
Right.
Hostess City Hot Glass, and we
Yeah.
don't.
It's friendly in the name. That's
Well,
nice.
it feels friendly. I just didn't, I was just being courteous and not going in.
At the end of the day,
Being
like,
courteous by not
you know, we have
going
the
into his
spirit.
business.
You gotta be from around to know what kind of stuff that we do naturally. One, inviting you in. We've been taught how to do that our whole lives. Three, being nice, nasty only when we need it, right? But most of
Sure.
the time we're trying to be nice.
Only when Peaches doesn't like you.
You know, most of the time.
Yeah.
We're kind of coming to the end. David, do you have a final question? We have like another minute or so left.
One that came up. What is something you can do with glass that you can't do with other mediums?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. A lot of sculptural, expressionistic glass sculpture. Because only glass could flow that certain way.
Right.
Because you can make glass flow that way naturally without having to trim it. You can only get that look from glass. Because once it freezes, it's kind of like lava, right?
Right.
You know, it stands down and freezes pretty much. Now, how you present that, you know, it's the way to go. I mean, I think it correlates with the artist and how he presents glass for what it is. I mean, can it be? If you're looking at glass as a dishware, pretty much anything could make the dishware, right?
Right.
But
Machines can do that.
Yeah, machines can do that. But for an artistic sculpture or something like that only glass could do, it could mimic anything in nature.
I love
if you
that.
want to.
It's amazing.
I have.
You can
the-
make glass look like wood. You can make glass look like ice. You can make glass look like water. You can make glass look like clay.
But can you make glass look like your dog?
You could, through training, if you're, just like I said, there's like earlier when we talk about being a lawyer, doctor, all that.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of glass sculpture who makes everything look like.
Yeah.
But that's their training for the next 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
If you ask a glass sculptor how to make a bowl, they will have a hard. Well, that's not mine. It's asking a vessel guy like me to make a realistic salmon,
The vessel guy.
right? So
Yeah.
they're like, oh God, oh that's not my. I can make a half-fast salmon, or
Yeah.
you know, I mean a decent salmon.
Yeah,
but it
it's just
wouldn't
not
be
your
my-
specialty.
It's not your thing. Yeah.
Well, you guys, this has been so interesting. Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
absolutely,
It's-
man. I'm
it's
so
fun,
glad.
Yeah. So this has been Ron Martinez and Chris Charley from Hostess City Hot Glass, which you have to go visit on Montgomery Street. And this has been David Laughlin and me, Tamara
Yes.
Garvey.
Tamara Garvey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up on WRUU, That Old Savannah Magic from 4 to 6 p.m. It's a variety show featuring Savannah history, radio theater, interviews, and music.
You are listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with a global soul.